Hi, and welcome back to this free-for-all Friday edition of Focal Point AF Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. The program is Focal Point. The network is AFR Talk, the most feared, the most dangerous radio network in all of America. Now, we'll go ahead and take phone calls over the course of this hour. So if you want to call in, go ahead and load them up. Cedra, 888-589-840. So we'll weave some content, sound bites in with your calls. Hang on, I got to plug myself back in. Kind of monitoring the Twitter feed. Jeff Reed kind of monitors that for us during the program. And Jeff, tell me kind of what you're observing as you look at the Twitter feed as people are responding to what I said earlier in the first hour. What are you seeing as kind of a pattern that's developing?
Well, it kind of lit up pretty quickly when we posted the segment about you answering the question saying they're heterosexual and happily married. And it just kind of illustrates that whole segment you did with Matt Barber seems to be coming to life. At first they accused you of being a closet homosexual or homosexual impulses because you refused to answer the question. Then you answered the question, and now they're accusing you of being a homosexual because only a homosexual would say he's not a homosexual.
So if you don't deny it, you're a closet homosexual. If you do deny it, you're a closet homosexual.
That seems to be what they're saying on Twitter.
It just goes back to that whole business about how irrational they are and they think and they dialogue. All right, Jeff, listen, I appreciate that. Now, let's play a couple of sound bites on the Benghazi thing. Let's grab clip number 3. Got some actually pretty explosive stuff on this Benghazi thing today. Let's begin with NBC's Lisa Myers. Now, Lisa Myers, this is NBC. Now, the point is we got the BBC. I got a story in here about the BBC is weighing in on this. They're talking about how this is a problem for Hillary. You've got Judge Napolitano saying, hey, she could be prosecuted because she lied to Congress. You know, when she was waving her arms around and saying, what difference does it make for her dead? She was telling lies to Congress, and you don't even have to be under oath for that to be a lie. So the mainstream media now, and we got ABC coming up. That's what's significant, ladies and gentlemen. What's happening here is the mainstream media have been trying to bury this thing. They've been trying to ignore it. But here's what happens. At some point, the mainstream media says, look, this story is just too good to pass up. We can't let this story go. Somebody's going to get an Emmy out of this. Somebody's going to get a Pulitzer out of this. I want it to be me. Blood in the water. Can't ignore it any longer. And remember, they can't hurt Barack Obama because he's not running for re-election. And they do want to rally, they want to gather the wagons around Hillary Clinton. But I think what's pushing up against that is their instinct. They've got a story here that regardless of their personal ideology, this story is just virtually too good to pass up. So here is Lisa Myers from NBC. I mean, these guys are ministers of propaganda for secular fundamentalists, for liberals. And here is what NBC's, this is not Fox News, this is Lisa Myers, NBC. Listen to what she had to say.
Well, first of all, in her congressional testimony, which is really her only sustained questioning on this subject, in her congressional testimony, she basically tried to slam the door on any further questions by saying, remember the dramatic statement,
So
what difference does it make?
Yeah.
This reopens, I think, the questions. I don't think we know yet to what extent this does or might damage Hillary Clinton. I think the administration's biggest vulnerability here is, first of all, how do you send diplomats into this dangerous an area to facilities that do not even meet minimum security standards?
Yeah.
How do you then reduce their level of security by taking away some of the military personnel that they have? And then how do you, when you know that these people are in trouble, not find a way to move heaven and earth to at least get
I'm with you on
going
that
there?
one.
So this is amazing to me. I mean, Lisa Myers could have been doing Focal Point yesterday because she identifies 3 significant issues. Number one, we talked about this earlier in the week. That was the thing that blew me away I couldn't stop talking about it on Wednesday when the hearing was held. You know, where the regional security officer was saying, look, we rate every facility in the world based on its security risk. This was one of the 14, this location, well, both of the ones in Libya were 2 of the 14 most insecure, most dangerous, most risky facilities in the world. So what are we doing putting a compound there in the first place? That's Lisa Meyer's question. Second question is, if you're going to put a compound there in a place that you know is one of the 14 most dangerous diplomatic facilities in the world, why don't you bulk up the security? Why are you turning down all of these requests for more security? It's like you're setting them up to get overrun. That's question number 2. And then number 3, when you know that the attack is going, you've got real-time information, you've got drones on site, you've got phone calls coming in from the embassy in Tripoli, from Chris Stevens at the compound in Benghazi. Why didn't you mobilize special operations forces from Tripoli to go in there and do something about it? So, I mean, this is pretty amazing. Lisa Myers saying, look, this has got some real problems and some real problems for Hillary Clinton. Now, here is Jonathan Karl, clip 4. This is John Karl, ABC. We just heard from NBC. This is ABC, and this is explosive. John Karl, ABC, saying, look, those talking points that Susan Rice took out to all 5 of those TV shows on Sunday, there were at least 12 versions of those talking points, and some of the editing was extremely significant because it removed all mention of terror or terrorism. Remember what we were told? Oh, yeah, we kind of reviewed the talking points, and we made very minor, they were just stylistic changes. That's what Jay Carney said. Just stylistic changes, nothing substantive. John Karl, ABC, begs to differ. Let's listen.
Good morning, Josh. As you know, when this attack happened, the White House initially said it arose out of a spontaneous protest over an anti-Muslim video. That turned out not to be true, and the White House said they relied entirely on CIA talking points. But I have obtained 12 different versions of those talking points that shows that they were dramatically edited by the administration. Take a look at 2 of them. On the left, a draft initially written by the CIA. On the right, one that was used by the White House, the final version. What was taken out? All references to al-Qaeda and all references to CIA warnings before the attack about the terror threat in Benghazi.
So then, John, again, if this gains traction now, as they seem to be direct contradictions, how bad could this be for the State Department and its former head, Hillary Clinton?
Well, that remains to be seen. But, Josh, I have had emails read to me that show that many of these changes were directed by Hillary Clinton's spokesperson at the State Department, Victoria Nuland. In one email, she said that information about CIA warnings, quote, could be abused by members of Congress to beat up the State Department for not paying attention to warnings. So why would we want to feed that? After that email, all of those references were deleted.
So that's interesting. You know, John Karl saying, number 1, 12 different versions of these talking points, heavily edited by the State Department, including by Hillary Clinton's spokesman. I'm her right-hand person there. This goes right to Hillary Clinton, editing these talking points, deleting any references to al-Qaeda. Remember, because that went against the whole scenario that this was just a YouTube video. Instead, right from the very beginning, knew it was al-Qaeda back in 2.